I knew something was wrong the moment I stepped into the hall. The room was glowing with golden lights, soft music floating in the air, and laughter echoing from every corner. People were dressed in elegance, perfect smiles, perfect outfits, perfect lives. It was my sister's engagement dinner, the kind of event she had dreamed about since we were little girls. And yet, something didn't feel right. I stood there for a second, holding my small clutch, scanning the room like a stranger who had walked into the wrong place. Maybe I was early. Maybe they hadn't finished setting up. Maybe... Looking for something? My sister's voice cut through my thoughts. I turned. There she was, standing tall, glowing in her champagne-colored dress, her hair styled flawlessly, her diamond engagement ring catching every light in the room. She looked perfect. Too perfect. Yeah, I said softly, trying to smile. I was just looking for my seat. Her lips curled slightly. Not a warm smile. Not even a polite one. A smile that made my chest tighten. "Oh," she said lightly, glancing around. "Didn't you get the message?" My stomach dropped. "What message?" She leaned closer, lowering her voice just enough to sound like a secret, but loud enough that nearby people could still hear. "There wasn't a place card for you." For a moment, I thought I heard her wrong. "What do you mean?" She laughed softly. "Don't make it awkward. It's a formal dinner. We had limited seating. You understand, right?" Understand? I was her sister. Her older sister. The one who held her hand on her first day of school, who defended her when kids made fun of her, who stayed up all night helping her study. "Where am I supposed to sit?" I asked, my voice barely holding together. She shrugged. "I'm sure you'll figure something out." And just like that, she walked away, leaving me standing there, invisible. I wish I could say it was the first time she made me feel like that. But it wasn't. We used to share everything, clothes, secrets, dreams. People used to say we were inseparable. Two halves of the same heart, our mom would say. But somewhere along the way, things changed. Maybe it was when she started getting more attention. Maybe it was when I stopped fitting into the image she wanted. Or maybe she learned she could shine brighter by dimming my light. "Excuse me," a waiter said politely, pulling me back. "Do you need help finding your seat?" I hesitated. What was I supposed to say? That I didn't have one? That I was invited, but not welcome? "No," I said quietly. "I'm fine." But I wasn't. I walked around the room, pretending to belong. Every table had neatly placed name cards, families, friends, even distant relatives I barely recognized. Everyone had a place, except me. I saw my parents sitting near the stage, smiling, talking to guests, completely absorbed in the celebration. For a moment, I thought about going to them, telling them everything. But I imagined the embarrassment on their faces. And I couldn't do it. Not tonight. Not on her perfect night. So I stepped outside. The cold night air wrapped around me, but it felt better than being inside that room. I hugged myself, trying to hold everything in, the humiliation, the anger, the heartbreak. One question kept repeating in my mind: why? What did I do so wrong? That my own sister would erase me like I never existed? "You look like you're about to walk away," a voice said behind me. I turned. A man stood there, leaning casually against the wall. He was dressed formally like the others, but there was something different about him. He wasn't smiling. He was observing. I admitted, because of what she said. I froze. "You heard that?" "Hard not to," he replied. I looked away, embarrassed. "It's fine. It's her night." "And you?" he asked. "Do you always let people treat you like you don't matter?" His words hit deeper than I expected. "I'm her sister," I said quietly. I didn't want to cause a scene. He nodded slowly. Sometimes not causing a scene is exactly what keeps things broken. I didn't respond, because deep down, I knew he was right. After a few minutes, I went back inside. Not because I felt better, but because I realized something important. If I left, no one would notice. And maybe that was the problem. I had spent so much of my life being quiet, being understanding, being the good one, that I had slowly disappeared. But not tonight. Tonight, I was done being invisible. The program had already started. My sister and her fiancé were standing near the stage, smiling as people clapped and took photos. Everything looked perfect, like a movie scene. I stood at the back for a moment, then started walking forward. One step at a time. People glanced at me as I passed. Some smiled politely, some looked confused. But no one stopped me. until I reached the stage. My sister saw me, and for the first time that night, her smile faltered. "What are you doing?" she whispered sharply. I didn't answer. I picked up the microphone. My hands were shaking. My heart was racing. But my voice was steady. "I won't take long," I said, looking out at the crowd. The room went silent. "I just want to say something as the sister of the bride." A few people smiled, expecting something sweet, something emotional. But this wasn't that moment. "I've known her my whole life," I continued. "We grew up together. We shared everything, dreams, secrets, laughter." My voice softened. "And I used to believe that no matter what happened, we would always have each other." I paused. I was wrong. A ripple of discomfort spread through the crowd. My sister stepped closer. "Stop," she whispered. But I didn't. "Tonight I realized something very simple," I said. "Sometimes, the people who are supposed to love you the most can make you feel like you don't exist at all." Silence filled the room. "I didn't have a seat tonight," I added quietly. "No place card. No space saved for me." Gasps echoed around. My parents looked shocked. My sister's face went pale. "But that's okay," I said, taking a deep breath, "because I finally understand something I should have learned a long time ago." I paused again. "I don't need a seat at someone else's table to know my worth." I placed the microphone back and walked away. I didn't wait for reactions. Didn't wait for apologies. This time, no one ignored me. Behind me, I could hear whispers. Shifting chairs, the sound of a perfect evening slowly cracking. But for the first time in a long time, I felt whole. Not because she changed, but because I did. I stepped outside again. The same cold air. The same quiet night. But everything felt different. Because this time, I wasn't running away. I was choosing myself. And that changed everything.